everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to draw a face. So one of the most effective ways that I found to really get the proportions down for your face is to look at a skull and really understand like where your shapes are coming from and to where the proportion is. First, I found a frontal picture of a skull looking directly at me. Then I got a piece of transparency paper, placed it over the top, used a marker to divide this into two parts. One being this circle on the cranium, and the second one being this shape on the mandible. Then I divided it up into proportions, and I'll show you how I do that next. Okay, now I have my paper. We're going to use this as a guide. Now I'm going to start with that circle. So we're going to get a circle down very lightly. So go around and around with your pencil until you get a nice circle. And then we're going to get the jawline. That is the mandible. So let's go ahead and we're going to come down. We're going to get our radius of the circle first. And when we find the radius of the circle, that measurement from the radius to the end of the circle is what we're going to make that's how long we're going to make our jawline, our mandible. Okay, so we're going to make a little mark there. And then we're going to come down from the side. And remember, this kind of comes in and then like that. Okay, so it's almost like, it reminds me of Iron Man. If you know what the Iron Man mask looks like. So it's just like that. Then you can round it if you want to, or you can square it off, however you want to do that. Okay? And now we are just going to put right down underneath it, just so that we have some vertebrae. Okay, we're going to bring our vertebrae across like this. All right. And now let's do where we're dividing that circle into thirds. So think that you are going to be putting your eye line right there. So it has to be thirds. Think about 3 separate pieces, identically separate pieces within that circle that you drew. Okay? So we got, remember, these are eyes. We have hairline. Okay, and this is going to be our nose. There we go. And then in between where the end of our circle is and our chin there, if we go another line, we're going to do mouth. Okay, there we go. Now let's go ahead and start with the first thing. The most logical thing to start with would be your nose. So your nose is going to just mostly be shading. So let's just put a little bit in there. So think about the tip of the nose, however it is, like it might be a little more pointy or it might be a little more round. And let's go ahead and add a couple of like the nostrils on the side. And that can be a little darker depending on your person that you're looking at. And let's just kind of go around the outside of the nostril just slightly. And underneath that. Okay, that's just going to give the nose. Now, if I went up straight lines from here, if I kind of went like this, and it could be in a little further, depending on your person again. And I wanted to get basically the measurement for where my eyes are. My eyes are here. Okay, and let's just make an almond shape for an eye. Right around that line, okay? And I'm going to cut into my nose just a little bit here, okay? Now, from where the end of your circle is, if I kind of went straight line down to where the end of my circle is, you would want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would want to have 5 eyes basically. So if you drew the first one and it was too big or however, but if it was a good size, you're going to measure, you're going to see, okay, if this is going to equal, which mine looks like it's a little big right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to divide this into equal parts. So I want to divide this into equal parts. Mine's going to be like probably about right there. Right there. Okay. There we go. Okay, my eye is going to fall somewhere in between here. And I'm just going to do an almond-shaped eye for now. And if you would like to know a little more about how to draw an eye, I have a video for you that I will link up right here for you. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to come down to where the philtrum is. Now this, from your nose, here's a couple little tricks as well. From your nose up into the bridge of the nose, this is going to look like a long triangle. Okay, so about right in where you put that kind of U or whatever you're doing, so right in there, there's going to be like a long triangle. This is going to bring the bridge of the nose, which is going to end up having a little bit of shade there. And then underneath, you are also going to have another triangle, and that's called the philtrum underneath there. Okay, now you have your first top lip, and there's what's called a Cupid's bow. And it depends, you know, if you're drawing a male or female. This one I'm going to draw a male. So I don't want it to be too peaked, because usually the upper lip of a male is a little less prominent. Okay, I don't want it to be too peaked, but you could have it very peaked. And one way to do it is by actually drawing almost like a little heart right here, and then you're going to get those really nice peaks. Okay, so I'm going to come out with my mouth about from the center of my eye. If I kind of came straight down with a line, these are all these good measurements. But again, they are measurements for just a generic person, so however your person looks. And I'm going to turn up the mouth just a little bit so it's not so stark, you know, looking so drab, this person. All right, and now I'm going to give the upper lip just a little bit of plumpness, not too much. I don't want to fill that too much with this one, so I'm going to kind of make that line in between a little more prominent between the lips. Okay, and it's going to get pretty thin, and like you're not going to make the ends of your mouth be thick at all. These are actually going to be very thin. The lip actually stops about right there. Okay, now underneath, I'm just going to give a little bit of a shadow right underneath there. Okay, something like that for now. That's all we really need. Okay, let's go back in with the eyes and let's do iris and pupil, iris. And when I fill in the pupil, I'm going to leave a little shine in there. So I'm going to fill in and not fill in some of it. There we go. Fill and leave some. And what you can do also is for your iris, I like to go back and forth, like it's kind of like going like this, spiraling. Come here. I know. Here. Come here. Come here.
On the bottom, you're kind of
Yes.
looking to see, like,
You're going to sit?
where the peaks are.
You want to stand up, 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 up.
stand up.
Okay, and a double.
It's a
Double
good
line
girl.
on the bottom of your person's eyelid. So a double line there. Because you're going to be able to see that eyelid. Okay, now let's put right from here, let's just kind of make a darker line. That's the eyelid. Okay, and it won't go all the way to the end of the eye, which this is the end of my eye here. Maybe I will throw in a couple lashes that kind of, you see how I'm kind of throwing in just a couple. We don't want too many because I'm making a male. It's not going to have a bunch of eyelashes on there. If you want to look a little more realistic. So there you go, you've got your eyeballs in there. Okay, and now we need our eyebrows, which are going to come up from the corners of the eyes, and we're going to place them somewhere above there. And you know, it depends where the person's got a peak in their eyebrow, how bushy their eyebrow is, how flat it kind of looks, and then it's going to go, you know, probably to the end of the eye. This is all based on like how your person looks, obviously. Okay, and I'm just gonna throwing in a little extra shading. All right, so here we go. I'm going on the other side, and I'm just kind of looking to see like where I have to fill that in. You know, you can just kind of put the mark there and then fill in after later. Kind of mark around the edge of it. So we almost got the face down here. Now, we have to make sure that your face actually is a face. So you got to put the flesh on the face since we're starting kind of from the skull. Okay, so let's bring down the side of the face. So we're kind of coming down here. Let's bring down the side of the face and let's kind of attach that. Now, this area here, let's shade in. Okay, and this is a nice chiseled feature because you do have on your face, you've got a nice bone that stands out here. And then if you see right here, this is all hollow space. So this actually can be very chiseled on a person, or it can kind of look rounded. So, you know, it depends on how much, like, you know, maybe on man, you've got it a little more chiseled on the edges as well. And sometimes it comes in and there's like a strong jaw where it kind of comes out a little bit right here. Okay, and we're gonna do that with this just to kind of show you, I'm just showing you how you can do that. Once you have this established on the side of the face, let's do the other side. We're gonna bring this one down. Okay, and just kind of flesh up the face, and then you're going to shade in. So remember, like, this is that nice bone right here. Okay, we're gonna kind of shade around and then coming into this. This is a little heavier on the outside of your face, and then as you come in, you're gonna do a little less shading. Okay, and think of like where the mouth is. So think of like how the mouth is right there and it actually comes out. All right, so if we look at the side view, your mouth actually kind of comes out a little bit, right? So this is all nicely shaded. And again, you know, I chiseled this outside so you see how I kind of, I went in and then I went out slightly, a little bit right here, because I wanted to make like a nice strong jawbone there. Okay. Here we go. Now, let's find where we would put ears. So ears go, think if you've got glasses, it sits right on your eye line and it falls somewhere between your nose and your mouth. Okay, so just go ahead and put an ear. Okay, and then on the other side as well. Okay. And now let's do a neck. So think about your neck here. You've got your spine in there, and then you have this really strong muscle right in here. Okay, so right in here you're going to have this kind of stronger muscle. It kind of comes down like that. All right, and let's get this neck to kind of come down right by that jaw. Okay, so something like that. So in here you can have it a little more shaded. You're going to start to see this kind of really turn out, start to look. And then sometimes you're going to see like there's an Adam's apple in here, and that's going to be a little more shaded as well. This might kind of stand out just a little bit more. Okay, here we go. All right, now basically what we need to do, we'll put a little shading in there around the ears. Okay, and then we're just going to need to put some hair on this person, and we got to think of like hairline and what kind of hair we're going to put on this person. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of shading on one side of the nose as well. What we can do just very simply is kind of just use our pencil and go ahead and shade in like around the bridge of the nose just lightly. This is very lightly in the bridge of the nose here. Okay, and then you are going to go around the eye, and you're going to find that underneath the eye usually has a little bit of shading. It really depends how flat the face is right there. You know, if someone has a little more structure where it kind of sinks in, you know, their eye sinks in a little bit, you're going to have a little more shading. And definitely in here. And again, it really depends on your person. So, you know, you might not have as much in there. But definitely around your eyelid, you're going to have a little more shading. And then around the philtrum, like in here, you're going to have a little shading underneath the nose. Okay, on the side, a little bit. Usually kind of you have one side that's a little more shaded. You know, that depends as well. Upper lip is usually a little more shaded than the bottom lip, and then there's a nice highlight right in the bottom. And let's just get a little bit of our chin right underneath there. Let's get that shaded just a little bit. Okay, make sure you can see a nice line where, you know, maybe you want to have this come up a little bit right here. You have that shading. Kind of looks like a little dimple or something like that. There we go. Okay, make sure you can see that line. See the difference in between. Okay, and you know, then you want to definitely get rid of that 4 right there because I put my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 5 eyes going across. All right, and you're definitely going to have some, you know, shading. Like, we can go crazy with shading, but this is just kind of how. Right underneath the eyelid, you get that shading. And, you know, it's like keep some of that really strong highlight though, like in the middle of the well, it doesn't have to be in the middle, but in the pupil, you're going to want to keep some. Okay, now you might want some lines right around the edge here of your mouth. Okay, and you know, maybe you want some, I don't know, maybe you want some right here, you know, or you want some on the forehead. However, the lines, you know, you might want a little bit on the corners of the eyes, you know, because people have laugh lines. Okay. Again, it depends who you're making and, you know, how you're doing that. Okay, and then hairline. So we gotta just get that hair going in here. Okay, I'm gonna draw some hair, and then I'm just gonna kind of trail it down. Maybe a little bit in front of the ear, and then a little bit kind of popping off of the head. Come down from here. You don't want it to be stuck right to the head, so kind of popping off the head a little bit. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then you can shade in your hair a little bit more in different spots, but basically, there you go. Okay, thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.